They can't make the
for
money.
less than $50. And then ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine are no longer under patent. You can get ivermectin for $1 a pill.
That's
It's no longer under patent, and people don't need to understand that the way these drug companies make money is only if they have a monopoly on a drug that they create in the laboratory. And the only way they can have a monopoly is if they have a patent on that drug, which means that they're the only ones who can license it to other manufacturers. When the patent runs out, you have a patent for a certain amount of years. When it runs out, everybody and their mama now can copy the drug formulation and sell it. So that means that they can't make any money from it. So you have to ask yourself what you know about the system. If you could have an equal cure, but that one cure is cure A and one cure is cure B, or call it a treatment, equal efficacy, equal safety, but one treatment costs you $1 and the next treatment costs $100,000. What treatment do you think the system would promote?
So the $100,000.
The answer to that question, lets you know how you really feel about this system. Right. So if you already know that, why would you ever trust them to solve your health problems?
Right.
There's no financial incentive for them to solve it cheaply.
Brother.
They'll say, well, the vaccines are free, but they're charging the state billions of dollars. So they're making their money either way. So they are financially incentivized to push these vaccines on you. Now, here's the thing, because we're going to talk about the vaccine, we're going to talk about the studies. But what I want people to know is you have zinc ionophores and you have zinc that you can take. And the type of zinc that I recommend is called zinc, either picolinate is pronounced or picolinate. Picolinate. And the reason why I recommend that one is because that type of zinc is highly absorbable more than other types of zinc. Okay. You can get everything I'm saying, you can get on Amazon.com.
Fantastic.
Right? If you want to get vitamin D, I manufacture vitamin D. You can get it off my website. If you want to get olive leaf extract, I manufacture that. You can get that off my website, herbalresults.net. If you don't like me, you don't like the way I'm talking, and you'd rather get it from someone else, feel free. You don't have to get vitamin D or olive leaf extract from me. I didn't come on here to sell anybody anything. No. I just came to give you the information and for you to just double check what I'm saying.
And brother,
we already understand they don't have your best interest because we answered that question. And I think most people would answer the question. If they could solve your problem for $1 or $100,000, which route do you think they would take?
See, and you're right. The answer to that question tells you what you actually believe.
Exactly. Exactly.
But let's do this, brother, because you have dove deeper in this hour on this whole thing. What I would like to do, can we go ahead and spend a few minutes on the study? And then, brother, is there a way we can bring you back just to get into this whole
Yeah, man. Like, there's no problem.
Yeah, the olive oil, olive
The
leaf.
olive leaf extract.
Yes, because we need to get into that as well. But I want you to take your time, just like you did this evening, and break this thing down so that people are walking away with good, solid knowledge. Now, again, everything this brother has shown you, he has shown you where you can go and research it on your own. Okay? He is telling you the science behind it. And we have found 2 websites where our own government is acknowledging this information. So this is not anything that we're making up. We're not quacks. We're not anything disingenuous here. So I'm going to go ahead and let the brother get into the COVID, the VAX study. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, but we're going to bring this brother back. And please give your website information again.
Yeah, you can go to herbalresults.net, the HERBALRESULTS.net. So yeah, that's number 2. You're going to stop viral replication through zinc and zinc ionophores. That's the second thing. And then the third thing you would do is you would do some form of transfusion of antibodies or small amounts of virus, which they call vaccine, where now they've redefined vaccines to be what they're doing now, which actually does not fall under the CDC's own definition of vaccine. So the CDC's definition of a vaccine is that it must confer immunity. And they've already told you that. At first, they told you if you take the vaccines, you won't get COVID. And then they told you, well, you can get COVID. And then they told you you couldn't transmit it. And then they told you, oops, you can transmit it. And they keep moving the goalposts. Now they just say that, hey, if you get it, you won't stop transmission and won't stop you from getting it.
Uh-oh, I think you froze.
Won't even stop you from being hospitalized. But if you do get hospitalized, so now you can anticipate that since they've said that, because people like Jesse Jackson and his wife, who were fully vaccinated, they got hospitalized. So they sold you a fake bill of goods. It doesn't confer to you as much immunity as you think. And then there's an Israeli study that shows that people who've had COVID before have 27 times more immunity than if they took the vaccine.
Say that again, brother. Make sure people understand that.
There's a study that says that if you had COVID in the past and survived it, you have 27 times more immune protection than if you took the vaccine.
Lord have mercy.
So someone who has had COVID in the past has 27 times more immunity than if they just took the vaccine. They're not telling you this.
No, they're not.
They're not telling you this, but so that's what I'm saying. The third thing you would do is start with these types of injections, which would fall under vaccines, monoclonal antibodies, and these types of things. That would be the third stage to combat a viral epidemic. That would be your last resort, basically. Because when you start dealing with those things, you're dealing with manipulating the immune system through synthetic agents.
And even through the antibody thing, isn't that basically where they would go back to those?
No, the monoclonal antibodies, in a lot of cases, they're getting it from mice, where they humanize the antibodies in the mice so that it can be injected into human beings.
Okay.
So, but these are antibodies that are made synthetically in a petri dish. That's monoclonal antibodies. It's not natural.
Right.
So, then you have the mRNA, viruses, which is the Pfizer and the Moderna, which deal with spike proteins. And then you have the Johnson & Johnson, which deals with injecting pieces of adenovirus into you to have an immune response. All right, now listen. The vaccine that people should be most interested in is the one that's been approved by the FDA, which is the Pfizer vaccine. Correct? That makes sense, right?
Right.
Let's just talk about that briefly. So, Pfizer vaccine. The first thing you want to do, if you want to take something from someone and inject yourself with something from somebody, you should know who that person is.
Right.
So why don't we do this? Let's do another Google search. Let's search for these two words. Pfizer crimes. Just those two words.
Hold on, brother. Let me get this over off my main screen until I'm ready to share it. There we go. I think that's where I went wrong the last time. All right.
I want to make sure you're sitting down before you hit enter. Put in Pfizer crimes and make sure you're sitting down and make sure you're not drinking anything. I don't want you to choke.
Pfizer crime. And hold on, let me go.
Pfizer crimes. CRIMES.
You want the S on there? Let's see what
yes.
we come up with. And let me share the screen real quick. And let me bring it over.
Okay.
Hold on. I'll bring it over in just a second. Are you seeing it okay?
No, it's cut off. The other way was better.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
NIH.gov, right?
Right.
Okay. Why don't we start with reading just the abstract?
Let's see.
The appointment, you see that?
Yes.
The appointment of Dr. Bernard Pregent, Vice President and Medical Director of Pfizer Canada, to the Governing Council of the Canadian Institutes of Health Research outraged many Canadian health researchers. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to. Let's read that. Why don't you read this part?
Okay, it's saying it's a habitual offender.
No, go ahead, Pfizer.
Pfizer has been an habitual offender, persistently engaging in illegal and corrupt marketing practices, bribing physicians, and suppressing adverse trial results. That's big. Since 2002, the company and its subsidiaries have been assessed $3 billion in criminal convictions, civil penalties, and jury rewards. Let's stop
there. Let's just stop there. Let's stop there. Now, that's pretty big.
Yes, sir.
Now, what's most interesting when we're talking about vaccines is these 3 points here. Go back up where it says Pfizer has been a habitual offender. That means it's more than once.
Right there.
Persistently engaging in illegal and corrupt marketing practices. It means their marketing practices were corrupt.
Right.
Which means that whatever they were selling you, it wasn't what they were advertising. Corrupt marketing practice, bribing doctors, and suppressing adverse trial results. That's huge.
Yes, it is.
Because right now, what a lot of people don't realize is that Pfizer has done only preliminary trial results, and even though they've been approved, they aren't supposed to complete and report their trial results for safety until 2023. Mm-hmm. So with Pfizer, here we can go back. Okay. to the screen with us.
Here we go.
So when you're going to take a vaccine, there are only 3 questions. You know, I like to simplify these things. Anybody who's going to take a vaccine, there are only 3 questions. 3. People don't want to complicate this thing so much. There's only 3 questions. 1, is it safe? 2, is it effective? 3, are there alternatives? So number 1, is it safe? Well, we know that Pfizer has lied about adverse trial results.
Right.
Which means that they're lying about anything bad that could have happened with any of their medications. Adverse trial results means that the medication ended up doing something bad to people.
Mm-hmm.
Adverse. They've lied about it in the past. So what are the odds that they're lying to you now about the adverse trial results of this vaccine? It's got to be greater than 50%.
Got to be.
The reason is because if Pfizer was a human being, Pfizer actually would not qualify to even be employed by many of the institutions who are trying to mandate the vaccine. Like Pfizer actually legally would not be able to be employed because they've been convicted of fraud, criminal fraud. Like they would not qualify, like literally they would have to fill out an investigational background check and they would actually fail the background check to be hired at any university or any government place or anything. But here the United States government is awarding them with a contract to make vaccines for everybody.
For everybody. And again, people, it's very important that you check the history on just about anything you're going to do. Check its history and it will give you a clear path or a clear ideal in the direction you should go as far as dealing with the history of that. No matter what it is, its history can tell you a lot. So I do appreciate that, brother. That was a lot of great information. We're getting close to the point that we got to get wrapped up. So
no problem. I just wanted to give some foundational things for people to understand how you can think about these things and understand that the results coming out of places like Israel and the UK are showing that the effectiveness of the vaccines are waning, where you're starting to get more and more vaccinated people in the hospitals. That's why they're trying to tell you to take booster shots already.
Yes.
Like since when was a vaccine rolled out and in 3 months they're telling people to take booster shots?
Yes, they know.
That means that it is not as advertised.
They know.
It is not offering immunity as advertised. It's waning within 3-4 months. And the people who are vaccinated are thinking that they took something that is their solution to this problem, and they're getting sick too.
Yes.
And so the vaccinated need to stop being so arrogant and understand that they also are going to need early treatment options.
That is very
along with the unvaccinated. And they don't see that yet because they've been sold a bill of goods that is not true. Look at the UK data, look at the Israel data. And the reason why you want to look at that data is because they started their vaccination programs before the United States. So whatever you're seeing there is what is about to happen in the United States.
And Israel, just so that my listeners understand, Israel is one of the top countries in the world as far as the number of population that is vaccinated.
80% vaccination rate.
Yeah, it's up there.
So what's going to happen is that the only solution they have for you is to keep taking booster shots.
Right.
But the problem is, the more and more you take this, the more it's weakening your immune system. You can't be playing with your immune system like this every 3-4 months and taking these medications, this injection that you don't even know the adverse trial results. And I would tell people too, is that to deal with that, one of those prongs of the 3 questions you ask to consider when you want to take a vaccine: is it safe? Does it work? And are there any alternatives for the safety thing? You're not even getting accurate reports on the VAERS data, which is the vaccine adverse effects board that you're supposed to be able to access. They're not even counting the adverse effects that's going on. And I'm part of a few Facebook groups where people from all over the world are reporting their experiences with the vaccine. Some of them are saying, my arm just hurt for a day and I'm fine. But a lot of people are saying, my husband got a heart attack 2 days after he took the vaccine. My aunt got a stroke. My sister, is paralyzed. I have a brain problem now. I've been menstruating. Women are saying that they've been menstruating for 3 months straight and it hasn't stopped.
Oh my God.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, people are being really damaged by these vaccines, but it's not being reported. So people are not getting a fair opportunity to assess those 3 questions.
But all this is going back to one of the original things that they were saying was a problem with the vaccine from the start, and that was clotting, blood clotting. Because generally a heart attack, a stroke, or even what was the last one you had mentioned? The menstrual thing is either not clotting or
this is what's happening. But this is not being reported to you on the news. Like, I doubt on the news. I don't watch the news.
Right.
But I'm on social media, and I hear what people are saying as a result of the news. I doubt very much that there's been any coverage at all, or any article or story about one person having an adverse effect from any of the vaccine.
True.
I mean, it just doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
The fact that there's been no news on it should actually, I mean, this is a vaccine that's new.
Right.
This is actually technology that they've been researching it, but this is the first time it's been, they said they've been researching it for a decade, but this is the first time it's been unleashed on millions of people. Do you think that there are no adverse effects? Why is that not being reported? Doesn't that ever strike people like, wait, why are we hearing about a person who was an unvaccinated person or someone who was anti-vaccine dying of COVID? Mm-hmm. They'll show you those stories all the time, but they don't show you stories of people dying of taking these vaccines.
Right, because they don't want you to know that side of it. Hey, brother, we're going to have to get this cut short at this point. I'm sorry to say, but again, I do want to reschedule with you and get you back, and let's get focused on any updates you have in this area, as well as the olive leaf oil and the benefits.
Yeah. Absolutely. We can go over the olive leaf extract. We can talk about different things, how it lowers blood pressure, blood sugar, and the results we've had in actually dealing with prostate cancer and reversing that, and breast tumors and all of that. We can talk about that. Yes. And I can also go into the ivermectin studies, so that people can actually understand what's happening with the studies themselves, instead of relying on the press. And everything that I'm saying, I'm going to teach people how to be able to look it up themselves.
Fantastic, brother. Well, we're going to schedule just about this much time, an hour and a half. And if you feel you need 2 hours, man, let's go ahead and schedule that when we talk. And when we go ahead and set this back up, go ahead and give people your website again. If I remember correctly, it is herbalresults.net.
Yes. herbalresults.net. That's results with an S at the end of it, .net.
And again, Heru Ofori-Atta. You can look this brother up. You've seen the information he has given us. You've seen the information is verifiable. Okay, so I don't want people coming at me sideways saying that we're anti-vaxxers, and he gave you the science and the information. He showed you where you can find it. These are studies that our own government has. Guys, this is stuff that they're just not telling us. So this
you know what I want to do, bro?
Yes, sir.
Let me end with the study that's in the New England Journal of Medicine on the Pfizer vaccine, and just to see what they say about adverse effects. I want to share that screen with you.
You should be able to share on your side. Is the button there?
Okay.
If it is, go right ahead.
Okay, I'm going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just because I just want to end with that, because I just need people to understand I'm not making any of this up. I'm actually trying to bring some balance to the conversation, so that if you decide that you want to take the vaccine, you've been on the fence, or whatever, you're getting both sides of the story. Never in human history should you take a medication and not understand both sides of the story, the pros and cons of it. How many people have actually heard the cons of taking the vaccine? Now, if you decide you're going to take it, that's because you weighed the pros and the cons. But the con information is not being readily shared with people, and that should make people feel suspicious.
True.
All right?
And that's called making an intelligent decision.
That's that's actually legally called informed consent.
There you go.
But there is no informed consent going on, because people are not being informed, but they're just consenting.
Yes.
So let me just share my screen. Select window. I'm looking for it. Hold on a second. Not this one. No, it's not that one. Hold on. This screen here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I just want to be able to, or I might have to have you search for it. It's easy to find, New England Journal of Medicine. But I want to, yeah, why don't you, wait, hold on.
Okay.
It's not. Wait.
There it
Yeah,
is. There
oh,
it
yeah,
is.
but I don't see it, though.
You don't see it? I'm
That's
seeing
I don't see it.
safety of the.
Oh, okay, good. You
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay, safety of the BNT162B2 mRNA COVID vaccine in a nationwide setting. That's one of the studies.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the adenovirus one, which is Johnson & Johnson. So the BNT one is the that's the Pfizer one.
Pfizer. Okay.
Yeah. So
and this is J&J.
yeah, and this one is J&J, but you want to read the Pfizer one. Now, what you want to do, it says in a nationwide setting, there's another study, New England Journal of Medicine, just showing people how to look for this.
Mm-hmm.
Safety of the vaccine. Okay. Here we go. Safety and efficacy of the BNT162B2 COVID-19 vaccine, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is in the New England Journal of Medicine. So when you look at, okay, I'm looking to pull up study, and what I'm getting is, give me a second, because this is an advertisement. Oh, that's the quick take.
Okay.
Hold on. I don't want the quick take. Always get the study itself.
Mm-hmm.
So what I have to do now is, I just sent the study on email to somebody. Author affiliations.
Yes, there we go.
There we go. Sorry. Okay. So if I go to the top, okay. Do you see the top where it says? Do you see that at the top?
Yes, sir.
You see where it says New York Upstate Medical University Vaccine Research, Pfizer?
Pfizer right there, Pearl
Yeah.
River. Yep.
Yep. Vaccine Research and Development, Pfizer, Hurley, United Kingdom. So all over this, you'll see almost every other sentence, you'll see the word Pfizer.
Mm.
You see Pfizer
Mm-hmm.
all over this place?
Mm-hmm.
Pfizer. So a lot of the people who contributed to this were affiliated with Pfizer.
Right.
So Pfizer is making a study on the adverse effects and the safety and the efficacy of their own vaccine that people are saying is safe and effective.
Mm. And if that's the case,
After we know that Pfizer has falsified adverse effects of their suppressed adverse effect data from what we just saw from their past, right?
Right.
But what's more interesting is, let's see what they say about the adverse effects. That'll be even more interesting, because people aren't reading this themselves. And there's a very interesting statement that I need to be able to find very quickly. And I probably just need to
take your time, brother. We got another minute.
Yeah, I probably just need to just find it on the page, because that'll just be a lot quicker, because there's a lot of stuff on there. MYA. Hold on. I want to be able to read
results or conclusions. I see both of those.
safety median. No, there's something here that was. There's something that I wanted you all to see that was actually really interesting. And I should have had it marked for you all, because, okay.
Oh, adverse events. Okay.
Yeah, adverse events. Right. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second, because there's a particular sentence I want you all to read. So just stop sharing my screen, and then let's just go back to us being viewed, and then when I see it.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
There we are.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is just look for, I want to look for the sentence. There is a particular sentence that would cause some concern for people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find, but in the meantime, you can comment on, how do you feel about everything you just heard?
Again, I'm not totally surprised by it. Pfizer and these other drug companies have had a very shady past, so it doesn't surprise me that they put out a study and then have their own people pretty much review and confirm the information within the study, which in effect pretty much is Pfizer telling its own people to write what it wants them to hear or want us to hear. So it doesn't surprise me that Pfizer is doing this. But that's the medical industry, and we'll talk about this more when we meet again, brother. But I have just recently gotten over cancer, and what I had to go through through their system, and the money that I'm paying out is just ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons when I saw you and I saw your product with the olive oil leaf extract, and I went in and I read your website and I saw the testimonials, I began to realize that what I should have done was to reach back out to the wellness community before I did my cancer treatment, because the information that I saw on your website was really mind-blowing, brother. And to just wrap that up for you, your whole presentation was very well received by me in particular, because not only did you give the information, you showed people where they can find the information. You then gave them the steps in how they can get a strong immune system and the 2 steps involved in that process. You then took us through the part where the next step is that after you've taken care of the health of your immune system, you need to take this step to farther get the replication of any viruses out of your system, and this is how you go about that process. And then you tie the whole thing up with the studies and every single thing that you pointed to, and then bringing it back to where we just wrapped up with the vaccines and your 3 things of if it's safe, is it effective, and is there any alternatives, and then just showing who Pfizer is as a company. All that should clearly make your mind up and give you the information that you need to make a very informed, intelligent decision concerning the vaccine, or if you should treat this on your own. So that's my take on it, brother. I thought it was a lot of great information, and I'm really looking forward to another opportunity to get you back on, to get into a deeper dive into the benefits of wellness with the olive leaf oil extract and the benefits that it has to the body. So
yes, I found exactly what I was looking for.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's do it.
Okay. Yes, exactly. Actually, there was one more thing I wanted to add to for your audience. We're going to end with the statement that I was looking for. But also, part of my protocol, and this is actually going to make you probably upset when you hear this, is that I've run across a study to show that you can kill or deactivate the virus by using mouthwash.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Did you say mouthwash?
Yes, mouthwash. So what happens is that you have, when they test you for the virus, what do? They put a Q-tip in your nose or or the back of your throat, because that's where most of the virus will be in the early stages before it gets to the lungs. Guess what? I have a study that shows that you can actually deactivate the virus in your throat and in your nose by doing a nasal rinse, and also doing gargle, 30-second gargle 3 times a day for 3 days. They found that using Listerine was 99.99% effective. Listerine, 3 times a day for 3 days was 99% effective in getting rid of all the virus. 99.99%. It tied with using betadine, which is povidone iodine solution, which you can get at Walgreens for $3.
Jesus.
And then the second leading treatment was using hydrogen peroxide, which gave you 90 to 99% efficacy.
90 to 99%
efficacy in getting rid of the virus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share you. I have it ready. So I'm going to share the screen one last time, because this is going to be life-saving. So I know you needed to get off, but I wanted to just share this because this is a matter of life and death for a lot of people, not knowing this. So when you want to stop the viral replication, you also can do it by using mouthwash. And you can, so what I do is I use, okay, no, not that page. I use hydrogen peroxide and a Q-tip. And what I do is I will soak the Q-tip one end in hydrogen peroxide, and I will clean my nose with it anytime I come in from outside. And then I will use either Listerine, or I will use a povidone iodine solution, or I will use hydrogen peroxide and gargle for 30 seconds. I'll do it morning, noon, and night. And that'll be it. And then, so if any virus was starting, it starts in the nose and the throat. So if you can deactivate it there, it won't then spread to your lungs.
Makes sense.
So here's the study here. Can you see my screen?
We're seeing it. I have the abstract, the medical virology.
Yes, this is the Journal of Medical Virology. So these are not like small publications I'm sharing with you. So what they found was this. They found that using salt water with saline solution had no change. Do you see where it says neti pot? Neti pot is basically they were using a saline solution. It says no change, 0%. You see that? Okay. Now, what I want, because a lot of people use salt water when they get a sore throat.
Right.
I'm just letting them know that doesn't work to get rid of the virus. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's start at the bottom. See where it still says betadine 5%? Then to the right says 99.9% to 99.99%.
Yes, it does.
That's how effective it was in eradicating the virus, inactivating. You see where it says inactivating? Right here? You see where it says on the right, log 10 decreased contact time, 30 seconds, percent inactivation. Okay, there we go. Now, check out Listerine Ultra. You see where it says Listerine Ultra? Same thing.
Lord have mercy.
That's just for 30 seconds, 99.9% deactivation. Listerine, again, 99.99%. Peroxide at the top, 90 to 99%. Okay? So just that alone, and then let's just read their conclusion. The rapid spread of SARS-CoV-2. Can you see where I'm reading it?
Yep, right there.
Yeah, the rapid spread of SARS-CoV-2 across the world has created an unprecedented healthcare, social, and economic disaster, with the most significant mode of transmission considered to be through aerosolized droplets. Wearing masks and social distancing can significantly decrease transmission and spread. So if they're saying that the mask is stopping it, then that means that it can be spread from the mouth and the nose, which means that people should have just been told to rinse their mouths and clean their noses.
That's all they had to do.
Yeah. And it says that while we wait for definitive therapies and vaccines to contain and prevent the spread of SARS-CoV-2, additional strategies are required to lessen transmission. Nasal rinses and mouthwashes, which directly treat the major sites of reception and transmission of COVID, may provide an additional level of protection against the virus. Like, why weren't people told this? There are studies showing they took like 900 people and separated them to a control group and a group that used peroxide as a wash or Listerine as a wash, mouthwash. And in 7 days, 97% of the people were completely COVID-free, and it did not progress because they were killing the virus, or they were deactivating the virus. And then the other control group, there was like over 50% had developed the disease to something worse.
Man.
The people who didn't treat it with anything, with any mouthwash, $2 mouthwash, $3 mouthwash.
That is, you said it. I'm sitting here and my mouth is wide open. It's like, I can't believe that this as simple as that information is, that information was not given to the American public.
It was not. It was not given to anybody in the world public. It took people to actually just do a little research. Now I'm going to end with this. Okay. Remember, this is the Pfizer vaccine, BNT162b2. Right. This is the title of the study: safety of the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine in nationwide setting of the Pfizer vaccine. Right. When you go down to conclusion, this is what's interesting. This is what I want people to see, and I want to make this big, if I can. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can. Okay, yeah, if I can zoom in. Yes. Okay. Yes. That's
there it is. There it is. Nice and clear.
Okay. Check this out. Conclusions. In this study, in a nationwide mass vaccination setting, the BNT162b2 vaccine, which is the Pfizer vaccine, was not associated with an elevated risk of most of the adverse events examined. The vaccine was associated with an excess risk of myocarditis. What is that? That's inflammation of the heart, which is going to cause heart attacks and strokes. 1 to 5 events per 100,000 persons. And people say, well, that's pretty small, right? But read the next sentence. The risk of this potentially serious adverse event, they're referring to myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart. The risk of this potentially serious adverse event and of many other serious adverse events was substantially increased after SARS-CoV-2 infection. What they're saying is you take the vaccine and you come in contact with the infection, you have an increased risk of getting myocarditis.
Lord have mercy.
But they haven't even talked about.
I haven't brought any of that out.
They haven't said how serious. They just said substantially increased, but they haven't given the numbers on that. You see what I'm saying? So there are people who got family members who are having heart attacks out of all of a sudden who are healthy, but they had the vaccine. They don't even know what happened to their family member. They need to see the study.
Man,
they need to see the study. So that's what I wanted to end with. I wanted to end with the mouthwash thing and the nasal rinse. And also letting people know that in their own studies, they're saying that there is an increased risk of getting myocarditis.
Very simple.
This is in their own study.
Man, this just blows me away. I am so blown away right now. You just don't. I just can't believe that this information was not given to the American public. We did not have to go through all this. It's what this man is pretty much telling us.
You did not have to. And like a lot of people, like conspiracy theorists, say they don't trust the government because, especially black folks, because of the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Let me say something, right? They say history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
Now, what people don't know about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment is it ended in the 80s. People think it's something that people think that the Tuskegee syphilis experiment was like something that was happening like under Jim Crow. No, it ended in the 80s and it was sponsored by the CDC. Now, what was this Tuskegee syphilis experiment? A lot of people think that it was black men getting injected with syphilis. No, it was black men who came down with syphilis when they knew that there was a treatment. They just didn't give them the treatment because they wanted to see what the progress of the disease would look like. And they decided to just use it on black men because, of course, we're expendable. That's what the Tuskegee syphilis experiment was. And I'm just going to do a quick search because people are going to say, wait, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment ended in the 80s or the 70s? Like it wasn't in the 1940s or 1950s? No, I just want people to know. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, it ended in 1972, but they were still doing background studies into the 80s, but it ended officially in 1972.
That's still a pretty long time.
Yes. Now, here's the deal. Why am I comparing this for people to remember the Tuskegee syphilis experiment? And a lot of people haven't brought this up. The Tuskegee syphilis experiment was based on denying people early treatment. Look at what's happening with this.
Denying you with early treatment?
They're denying people early treatment and giving them Tylenol instead of something that is a zinc ionophore along with zinc. That's why I haven't gotten into the ivermectin studies and the hydroxychloroquine studies. That would be for next time.
Yes, bro.
But that is your early treatment if the hospital was going to be engaged in early treatment. So it looks like they are purposefully not giving people early treatment. Man,
that is sad. And that is also sick. That goes to show you how sick our government is.
I mean, this is just, you give a contract of billions of dollars to Pfizer, which is an admitted criminal organization that has falsified their advertising and marketing, has suppressed adverse events of their trials, their clinical trials, and has bribed doctors. So when your doctor tells you to take this or take that, you now have to ask them if they received a bribe from Pfizer. No, I mean, you do. It's not like, it's not illogical to do that. Is it outside of logic to do that?
No, it's not. No, it's not. That is, but that's real. That's real talk, y'all. You really have to consider that. Really, you do. Let's go ahead and get this wrapped up, brother. Go ahead and bring us back if you.
Yeah, I'm done for now. Whenever you're ready, I can come in and we can go over the
Go right ahead.
ivermectin studies.
Okay.
Next time, so that people know that there's something that actually works. And then you'll call into question your news media for calling ivermectin a horse dewormer.
Oh, that's
when anybody can do a Google search and know that ivermectin was given, you still see my screen, right?
Right.
Ivermectin. I'm going to put in ivermectin and I'm just going to put in Nobel Prize. And you'll see what ivermectin won the Nobel Prize. It's actually, it's been given over like 2 billion doses to human beings. Billion.
Man, this is...
Ivermectin, a multifaceted drug of Nobel Prize honored. In 2015, the Nobel Committee for Physiology or Medicine, in its only award for treatments of infectious diseases in 6 decades prior, honored the discovery of ivermectin against some of the world's devastating tropical diseases. And this is for human beings.
Right.
It's not for animals.
What they were saying is it was it this one or the other one they said was developed for Ebola?
Yeah, it wasn't developed for Ebola because ivermectin has been around since the 80s, and it was actually found accidentally in Japan in soil. It has a very interesting story, but it is a very powerful, it does many things, and they're finding that it actually reverses cancer as well. And I have studies that show that. It's something that should be studied very seriously for anyone who's interested in healing. The press is trying to obfuscate, they're trying to confuse people, and they're being completely dishonest to call it just a horse dewormer when it won the Nobel Prize in medicine for human use.
That's a damn shame.
So I can get into that next time. People go over the studies to see why it works. There are 45 peer-reviewed studies to show it works, and people can just look more into it. So I know there's been long conversation and you wanted to get off some time ago, so I don't want to flood your listeners, but this is what it is, and it takes time to explain all of this and to show people all of this, to let you know that I'm not just talking to talk. So that's why this is taking so long to go through this. But I'm basically having to clean up the mess that the medical establishment through the media and pharmaceutical companies have created. And so that's why this took more than 30 minutes or an hour conversation, because there have been mistakes all along the way where they're basically denying people early treatment, just like they did with the syphilis experiment.
Very important stuff, y'all. Very important stuff. And indeed, he has broken this all down for you. You should have a very clear picture of where this thing is going at this point and where it came from and why. Just about, well, it doesn't answer why they're doing it, but you know that it's money behind it. So with that, if you don't mind, go ahead and quit sharing your screen there for me. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And let's give this brother a big old round of applause, y'all, for the work that he has done. Because it's phenomenal that this information is out there. And as he showed you, all you have to do is Google the information. That's why I felt it was so important to get this brother on and talk about this, because when I saw his initial presentation, it really blew me away, because some of this information was starting to trickle out, and then but to hear it all put together the way that you've done it, that's where it all started to make sense, and it all started to come together, and it clearly shows that the U.S. government has been lying to us the whole time about this whole thing with the virus, denying us the proper treatment to cut this thing off, all to make as much money as they possibly can. So with that, I'm not going to get into all the conspiracy theories behind it, but you do see that our economy was shut down in 2020 behind us. You do see that the number of deaths that we have experienced in this country behind us, these are things that we didn't have to go through. So you have to ask the question, why are we going through this? Why are we going through this? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, Heru Ofori-Atta This brother has broken it down for you, y'all. Y'all get to his website. Please go to his website. Check out herbalresults.net. See the benefits of. He's got all the testimonials on there. He's got the products on there. He's got the science on there. Go in, read it, just like he did the presentation with us just tonight. His website does the same thing for you with the links to take you to see the science behind what he's telling you about what's going to be coming up next, hopefully in one of our next conversation, and that's the benefits of olive leaf extraction of oil extract. We got to find the benefits of these natural healers for us, because it's all about us getting ready for whatever is to come. So the more we know about natural healing, the better off we are. With that, again, please give this brother a big round of applause for all the work that he has put in and shared with us. I will be in touch with you probably within the week to reschedule this and get this scheduled up again so that we can follow up with part 2. We will schedule it for 2 hours so that our audience know that we're going to do a 2-hour presentation, and to stay with us on this, because this is just too great information, too great of information to ignore. We need this information for our community. So everybody give this brother another big round of applause. I appreciate him being on the show. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Brother, I will be in touch with you shortly. And again, thank you for your time and your talent and your knowledge on everything that you shared with us.
No problem, man. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, man. We'll look forward to talking to him real soon. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. A little bit over tonight, but it's all good. So with that said, we're going to have a good night. Peace and blessings to everyone, and we'll see you in a
Uh-huh.